Hello world, and welcome back to, or welcome to, the Pop Culture Patter podcast. As always, I'm your host, Callum Brown, and today's episode will be closing out Season 1, as I'll be taking a 2-month break for the summer before restarting Season 2 in August. Thank you all for your love and support during the past 5 months. It has truly meant the world to me and has really kept me going. This week's guest is Derek Baird, creator and owner of the Chasing the Phase clothing brand. Derek is the most infectiously positive person I've ever met and an absolute gem of a guy. Derek and I get into his cancer journey, the struggles that came with that, DJing, and Chasing the Phase clothing. Please head over and give Derek a follow and buy a t-shirt to show him support. A special happy birthday to Derek for tomorrow. I hope you have a great one, mate. As always, this podcast was recorded with my good friends at the Podcast Studio Glasgow, the East End of Glasgow's digital creative hub, and the only podcast studio in the UK and possibly the world that offers 18 years of experience in the medium and is ran by a pioneer in British podcasting. To find out more information relating to the wide range of services offered or to book a session, please visit www.podcaststudioglasgow.com. And before we get into this episode, here's a quick word from our sponsor.
This podcast is brought to you by Brown & Co Properties, an award-winning family-run estate agency based in Whitburn, West Lothian. With a property mark protected service for a fixed fee, we are your go-to agent for expert property sales advice in the area. Get on the go with Brown & Co.
Derek, welcome to the podcast.
Yep. Thank you very much for having me on.
And how are you?
I'm good. Not too bad, thankfully, all considered. Obviously been through a bit of a journey recently, which we'll get into. But I'm feeling good today. Sun's out. Been up to town, got my hair cut today, which obviously helps you.
Yep.
It makes you feel good. And thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome. Do you listen to any podcasts in particular?
Joe Rogan's the main one. Obviously, he's a kind of big kind of podcaster that's kind of went on kind of leaps and bounds since he's went on to kind of Spotify and things as well. But more recently, I've listened to yourselves as well. So I've been introduced to you guys, listened to a couple of your podcasts. So it's not something that I would listen to a lot, to be fair. Obviously, I've not been well for a long time as well. But kind of when I was getting sleep at night time, I'd put on Joe Rogan. Quite interested in science and different things, the universe and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I've got a lot of interests that they talk about, and all different podcasts are different. And I think we're going to maybe try and focus on a bit more of the mental health aspect of things today as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Which we'll touch upon. But do you have any pop culture interests?
Well, I do, for a fact that I like my music. I do DJ a little bit. I did work in HMV back in the day for a long time. I spent 8 years working in HMV as a loss prevention officer, kind of security, but a bit more involved back then. But that was
in the town?
In the town. I ended up kind of supervising the 4 stores, because obviously still got Argyle Street going. You had Union Street, you had the store in Buchanan Street and Sucky Hall Street all at one point, when HMV was still doing quite well. I worked for them for a long time. So yeah, my interest in music, I knew all the chart music, I knew all the back catalogues, and you were very customer focused when you worked in HMV as well. Anybody that came in, so you weren't just catching shoplifters and keeping an eye out for them. You were very customer focused, and I had to know. But I worked there for a long time, and obviously I'm interested in music, lots of different genres of music. I'm not kind of specific to house music or dance music. I love my Beatles, I love my Sam Fender, I love my Doors.
Okay.
Love my Oasis, love my indie stuff and all that as well. So I've got a very eclectic music taste. Which was great. It was a great store to work for. And just they had the music on all day as well, different types of music. And
Get many freebies?
I used to get a good discount. I got a good discount, especially on the vinyl, because I used to buy a lot of vinyl back in those days. I've got rid of a lot of the CDs. CD collection was actually through the roof. But the vinyl and the CDs, I've stopped propping up my bed in the bedroom now. So it's just vinyl, got rid of a lot of the CDs. I used to have loads of data like everybody else. But it just becomes clutter at the end of the day once everything went digital, and everything's so accessible these days in terms of movies, music, anything you can just kind of get online. But yeah, I like going to the gym too as a pastime. Just been back there recently again after my cancer diagnosis, which is good. So that's made me feel good from a physical and mental health perspective, which is really good. And I've always done that. I've always been into my martial arts as a kid. I've trained for a long time, not bodybuilding, but just to go be fit. I'd done a bit at college back in the day as well. I actually wanted to be a PE teacher back in the day. When I met my missus, my daughter was born when I was kind of 21. So I've got a grown-up daughter, but I went to the Nautical College back then and done a sports and fitness and technology course. Wow. Just as an NC back then. But when I got past that, I went to do the HND. I found it quite difficult. I had a young daughter. I had to go out there and work. I didn't really leave school with a lot of kind of qualifications. My dad was in the army anyway. When we got to that, I moved around different schools and stuff. But yeah, I've always been interested in my mental health and physical health, which is a huge contributing factor in the kind of way you feel kind of day to day. So,
and martial arts, that's one question I actually had, because I found that out when I was listening to Holly's podcast when you were on not that long ago. Where I met you for the first time. I was actually sat in the room while you were recording.
Sure.
And you spoke about martial arts, and I was just curious, like what kind of martial arts did you sway towards? Muay Thai?
It was kind of Shotokan at the start, which is a karate style.
Right.
And these were all done in my dad's camps. So when we were moving around with my dad, I was interested in that from about 11, 12 years old. Huge Bruce Lee fan. I mean, I'm born 1975. So I think Enter the Dragon and all that kind of came out just prior to that. My bedroom was covered in Bruce Lee stuff. I'd homemade nunchucks and all that sort of stuff in my bedroom. So I was always interested in martial arts. Then any kind of camp or barracks that my dad was in where we stayed, always looked for a local class or dojo to go to. So it was Shotokan initially, done a bit of Taekwondo, done a bit of sparring and boxing and stuff. But then that kind of faded away into my kind of later kind of teenage years. When I came back to Glasgow, I started playing kind of football a little bit more. Then I got injured. I got a couple of really bad knee injuries when I was a young man. Just 18 years old. I'd done my cruciate ligaments in both knees.
Jesus.
Played in the old Blaze parks as I stayed in Germany before I came back to Glasgow when my dad was in the forces. But in Germany, you had all the nice grass and the pine trees in the background. AstroTurf was a big thing back then. I'd never seen an Ash Blaze football park in my life till I came back to Glasgow.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I kind of crippled myself at an early age. I was always into athletics. I was a really fast runner as well. I got AAA awards in athletics when I was at schools. But yeah, unfortunately, I got some bad injuries.
Where did you play? What position?
I was a striker. I was a big number 9. So yeah, I liked scoring the goals back in the day. But yeah, I couldn't even play five-a-side football after that, which was quite hard to take from a mental perspective then. So I was really disappointed. I just stopped doing my martial arts. I couldn't really play football back then. And yeah, I was left with music and maybe just like physical resistance training just to keep myself kind of ticking over. But yeah, running and twisting on a football park was a no-go from an early age, unfortunately.
And I was a striker as well. So we shared that big number 9.
Yes.
I was always the tallest kid in school.
Me too.
And I can remember the first kind of, went to like a little school that did like it was kind of like a soccer school, and the manager.
Soccer's a very American name. Was that in the States? You see the American very chance?
I don't know why I said soccer, but soccer school and football school don't sound as good, do they? But
no.
I can remember the guy that ran the team asked me where I played, and I watched football for a long time before I joined, and I was quite late into joining this team. And I was like, I don't really know.
Sure.
Like, I like to score goals, and it's like, right, we'll put you at right back, and I was like, right back. I'd never really heard of that.
Sure.
What did I do? And I scored a hat-trick my first game from right back.
From right back.
And then it was like, right,
you don't know your position then.
I was like a right winger, like almost like a striker. I didn't understand how to come back. So I was very lazy. But they ended up just putting me up to striker. But sadly the team weren't that good.
Was that just at kind of schools level?
Yeah.
Well, me too as well. I had some few friends that were S forms, like proper footballers from my schools level. But you always have aspirations to be a footballer.
Well, that's it. My dad was a junior footballer as well,
okay.
so and he went on to coaching, coached with Livingston, the kind of youth system there, because that's kind of where I'm from, around about that area. But football's been massive in my life, and obviously I'm a Man United fan. I've just found out 5 minutes ago that you're also got a wee thing for Man United as well.
I've got a passion for Manchester United as well, from following Alex Ferguson. We briefly kind of touched on it. I stayed in Aberdeen when I was a young boy back in the early 80s, 82, 83, and Alex Ferguson was the manager then, and obviously when he won the European Cup with Aberdeen, he got scouted by Man U, I don't know, but I ended up going to Man U, and I always had an affiliation. Loved Alex Ferguson, and so I'm a bit of a Man U fan. Likewise, I think still to this day.
Aye, and we've suffered for the past 10 years, but I think Ferguson did make that Scottish connection. A lot of certainly people growing up were Man United fans because of Ferguson, and we've got such a big following up here. But I don't think the European Cup with Aberdeen gets spoke about enough, how amazing an achievement that is.
I actually watched the documentary on it just the other day. It just came, it was on YouTube.
Right.
And it actually showed you when they done the training. When I was a wee boy, I was in my dad's barracks. We used to come for Pittodrie, and they trained there. So that was a bit of a turn back in time. I watching all that old kind of footage. But you're right, it doesn't get talked about too much because that was a huge achievement back then.
Massive, yeah. I mean, compared to now, where Aberdeen are at,
they played Bayern Munich and all that as well, because I couldn't really remember that as a kid. I was seeing the old footage and how they done the training on the beach and all that in the middle of winter and stuff, taking Gordon Strachan and Millie Miller and all that down, Alex McLeish.
It's incredible. And you said you moved about, so you've been in Germany, you've been in Aberdeen. Where are the other places that you kind of moved about to?
So my dad was in the army for 18 years, so I was called, you call it a squaddy kid. I moved around. So I was in Osnabrück, Devizes, Warminster, Belfast and Ireland was my dad's first post. My dad joined 1975 when he was 19.
Wow.
And just had me then as well. So I was born in Bills Hill, but went over to Belfast in the middle of all the madness. Over there in the kind of mid to late 70s. I was in Berlin when the wall was still up as well, so I was in Berlin. I remember I had my name on the Berlin Wall actually, so that's something, a little bit of useless information. My name on the Berlin Wall before the Berlin Wall got knocked down 89, I think, from memory. Maybe I'm wrong there, but I was like 12 years old when I was in Berlin. So there was a lot of jumping around. So I was always a new guy in school, which I found quite difficult then as well. It was exciting going to all these kind of different countries, and you were maybe spending 4 years at most in any given school or country. And it was exciting to a degree, but once you kind of get into your mid and later teenage years, my dad got a posting when I was 17. When we came back to Glasgow, and he got a posting down to the Royal Military Academy in Sandhurst, where all the Royals go for the officer training and stuff. And I was like 17. I was still playing football then at school. So I was settled at that age. I ended up having to go because my dad's like, what are you going to do? I'm just out of school. I'd all my life in front of me then as well, so I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I left school. I was going to go to uni or what. I was always a new guy at school, get moved around a lot, which was quite exciting when I was younger, but once you're hitting kind of 10, 11, 12 years old and you're always getting moved around, I find that kind of quite difficult.
Struggle to settle anywhere as well, because you're not going to be there for too much longer.
I got bullied a wee bit in different schools as well, so that was always that. But even though I was kind of quite tall and good at sports, I was always a new guy. So I'd call it initiations. Like different schools in England and Scotland, they always had different things for the new guy to do. But looking back on that, I was actually getting bullied. It's weird things like getting poled in school. Have you ever had a polling?
Oh, I never had that.
Used to pick you up and pole you around a pole and twist you around. When I look back on it, actually happened. That was in England a couple of times at different schools. But
that sounds traumatic.
It was quite traumatic as a new guy, and I remember going away crying and stuff in the classes. And I'm talking, I was 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, and that happened a couple of times as part of your induction into the school. But I remember going away and actually physically just sitting quietly in a corner somewhere and like crying in your first couple of days at school. But thankfully, I've came through all that. But that was kind of quite traumatic thinking about it and actually talking about it.
If anything, Derek, you've been through a shitload
I have. I mean, the mental health-wise as well, there is a lot, but I feel as if I'm really strong. It's built my kind of character over time as well, so nothing's really kind of broke me, which to a degree, I mean, the brain's a complex machine. Yeah, but I have been through a lot. Yeah, I have been through a lot.
And you've remained positive, especially over the last year, which we'll touch upon later. But I just wanted to say that it's inspirational how positive you are. And
thank you.
Has that always been the case? Have you always been that positive mindset? I've
always had that, yeah. I've always had that. And I think, I don't know if you're born with it. I'm the oldest out of 4 kids. And my sister's slightly younger than me, a year and a half, and I've got 2 younger brothers that are quite young. I mean, I'm 48 on Wednesday. It's my birthday. It's my birthday week this week, so I'm 48 on Wednesday. But I've got 2 younger brothers. One's got an addiction issues. One's he's an alcoholic as well. He's in Australia. He's a musician, but he drinks every day, all day. My youngest, smaller brother, he's got addiction issues to this day, which I've tried to help and support him all through my life 2 or 3 different times, really trying to help him out. So that was tough. My mum had a mental breakdown and hit alcoholism as well when I was a kind of young teenager, going through a horrible divorce with my dad. And I tried to look after my brothers and my sisters. So it was a lot that affected me, but I always took it on board, and I was always managed to kind of process stuff. Even though I was having my breakdowns and tears and stuff, kind of in between, I've always been the big brother and the dad to my siblings, really. Once my mum and dad kind of split up, because unfortunately it wasn't an amicable separation and divorce with my 2 parents, unfortunately, which was quite tough on all of us, and my mum, because she kind of really turned to the drink quite a lot. And
it's a demon, isn't it?
And I stayed with her at home on my own, and my younger brothers and sisters went to stay with my dad, and I actually seen her physically going through all that kind of downward kind of spiral and having to go to Levendale Hospital and stuff, and just, so I'm very aware of how fragile the brain can be in terms of mental health. And even though it was affecting me emotionally, I've always been pretty strong. And
I think that's an understatement as well.
Yeah, and it's helped me. But yeah, I mean, it hurts you, but it hasn't broken me, thankfully, touch wood.
Yep.
I've never had suicidal tendencies, to get really deep. My 2 brothers have. I've spoken my 2 brothers out of suicide twice.
Wow.
On a telephone and one-to-one.
Right.
So I'm very aware of the implications of what stress, and whether that's outside stress, physical stress, addiction stress, because there's so many things that can affect your mental health.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've helped my 2 brothers. Thankfully, they're still here to this day. But my mum did pass away. That really affected my young brother, because my young brother with the addiction issues stayed at my mum's all through COVID. Every day, lockdown, mum drinking every day, and my brother was doing obviously the wrong things. So when my mum passed away last April, just before I got my diagnosis, I had to take my young brother in.
Oh, man.
Because I knew when I got that phone call in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, my younger brother's phoned me. I knew there was something wrong, and he was just in a total mess. And I knew what he was going through. I knew about his addiction problems. I spoke to my missus, says, I need to help my brother here, because I know for a fact that he'll do something really silly in a couple of days, because my mum's just passed and he thinks he's got nobody. So yeah, we took him into the house for 6 months again, helped him clean himself up. He's doing okay to this day, I think. We don't talk a lot. He's not been through kind of proper rehab and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to see him on Sunday, actually, which will be quite emotional for us, because I've not really seen much of him through my ill health the past year. He's obviously been worried sick, but yeah, those other little things have helped me be super strong as well, in terms of just making sure. I like to make sure people are okay. I like to give my positivity, and especially when it's directly impacting on your own family. Yeah,
and your positivity is infectious. From the first time I met you a couple of weeks ago to the conversations that we've had privately, to you being here doing the DJ, there's just something so infectious about your personality that it's just like, it brings out the best in people as well.
Thank you.
It's really impressive.
I'm quite a private guy. A lot of people, even when I'm at work, they do say to you, Derek, you've got a really good aura about you. There's just something. Just something about you, how you talk to people, how you deal with people in my work. And that's really kind of came to the fore a little bit. More people they've kind of kept that to themselves. But when I got not well and diagnosed with cancer, and I've been speaking to people from work that have really missed me, and they've actually said that to us, Derek, you've been really missed. Just your whole spirit and the way you deal with people and life is so inspirational.
Yep.
Which gives me goosebumps just like talking about it. It makes me feel really proud of myself.
Aye.
Which is a big part of giving yourself a bit of self-gratitude, kind of going, yeah, I actually think I'm a good person.
Yeah, and like Christine talks about guardian angels in her podcast a lot.
Yeah.
And you know, you've got that presence of a guardian angel, but like
so
to everybody, that you know, like we don't know each other on a personal level yet.
Yeah.
After today, I feel like we
sure
definitely are. But no, I've just always had that from you, and you know, it's great, especially when I've been struggling with stuff now and then. Knowing you and knowing what you've gone through is kind of inspiring me to get back up to the positivity. So thank you for that.
I never thought like I would have that impact on people till recently, very recently, in fact. So I'm on social media. I'm on everything on social media now through my clothing brand, and I started making some vlogs. I didn't even know what a vlog was.
I've
like
been
a year and a half
watching them,
ago. I don't know where that came from. It must have been just something within that made me feel comfortable in processing how I was feeling through my cancer. And on the odd occasion, I'd set up the camera in the kitchen and just talk to my phone, how I felt, then uploaded it. And
you don't notice how much of an impact that's going to be on somebody, because somebody will watch that video and take away what they need to take away from it.
100%.
And you know, if there's 1 or 2 people, or if there's 100 people, you know, that's amazing.
That's what it's all about. It's not about. I wasn't even thinking about likes and who would listen. Selfishly, it was all about me and how I was feeling. I didn't want to go to therapy, and I thought I could just talk of how I'm feeling in front of the camera for 15-20 minutes, uploaded it on YouTube, and 2-3 weeks down the line, it's like you said, from all over the world, people are going, my mum's had very similar to this, I've got cancer, Derek, you're such an inspiration, thanks for talking about it. And that just really encouraged me to do a little bit more. When I was feeling okay, but now I'm like yesterday I walked around Glasgow Green just making, so I'm going to continue doing that.
And you probably are that used to it now that you don't care about being in public and holding your phone.
No, not at all. Not at all. Obviously, with my disfigurement, obviously people can't see us talking just now. But through my cancer, I had to get my nose amputated and stuff, and I felt really self-conscious about that initially. But now, I'm just up and at 'em now. I'm just out there walking around, making some videos, and people have just been so nice and so genuine in their feedback. And you're right, if that helps one person to help inspire them, then that just makes me feel great.
I know, and just continue doing what you're doing, because what you're doing is great.
I'm going to keep doing it. I can't believe when I look back on some of my footage and stuff, and I'm just like, where's this kind of came from? But I'm not going to stop doing it, because this is going to be with me now for the rest of my life in terms of my cancer and my recovery, and it's a huge, huge part. And
you're now getting phased back into work.
Yes, believe it or not, that's going to come soon. I'm a facilities manager for a property company, and that's my kind of main job. So I've had some meetings recently, and they're just kind of risk assessing me, making sure I'm comfortable, because I'm a very public facing kind of building. I manage a big estate for a landlord. I get on well with the landlords and things, or the tenants, at my work. So it's a very public facing role that I'm in, even though I deal with the maintenance and all the health and safety regs and all that sort of stuff. And they're just making sure that I'm happy to go back in terms of facing the public with my disfigurement that I've got and stuff. So I've reassured them I think I'm ready now. I mean, 8 weeks ago, I was still hibernating to a degree and felt very kind of self-conscious, but it's amazing the progress that's been made since I got the kind of all clear very recently. It's been a huge weight off my shoulders.
That's from getting the diagnosis in June
last year
to now you're
pretty much a year.
You're like, in a year, you've come such a long way, and like you're now phasing yourself back into work.
Yeah,
you must like that's
it's incredible
achievement.
It's just thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, normally like these things, people take recovery. You take as long as you need, basically. But you only just got June doesn't feel that long ago.
No,
like compared
it's not, because years fly by. A year's nothing once you get a little bit older.
It's madness. I was looking at that earlier on. I was like, he just got his diagnosis in June, and here he is. It's not even June yet. It's cancer free, and he's going back to work. It's just madness.
I got the surgery in August last year, early August, 11th of August to the day. So this time last year was actually in Ibiza. This time last year for my birthday. It's my birthday week, as I said already, and we had that planned after COVID, because that was terrible for everybody. So through COVID, just sitting around, I was drinking too much then at home, like a lot of people. Mum passed away, I started smoking again, which was terrible. I was stressed out my nut. And that was all coming on the back of kind of COVID, and we'd planned something nice for my birthday to go to. So I was in Ibiza, not feeling well. Things were getting worse in terms of how I was feeling mentally and physically. The swelling and the tumour in my face started growing quite quickly this time last year. And I struggled through for 6 months. That was in my face for about 6 months. Going to work every day, then sleeping, very lethargic, and the whole build up to it. Towards the end, I knew there was something seriously wrong.
And when did you finally go and see about it? From you first getting the kind of sore nose? Yeah. When did you first go and see about it?
So I struggled through it. My mum passed away in March, which I've touched on already. So that was March last year. Christmas just before that. So that's like 3 months before that. Christmas time, I wasn't feeling great. I was sleeping a lot just before the Christmas break. I was going to work, getting up early, generally an early riser, 6:30 in the morning, into work normal hours, 8 o'clock. I was coming home, 5 o'clock, sleeping till 9 o'clock, having something small to eat for my dinner, then sleeping like all night again. And I was getting kind of random kind of nosebleeds and headaches and things, and going, I'm not well. And I was going to go to the doctor, to answer your question, in March time, when my mum passed away. In my head, I'd totally scrambled my head. My brother stays in Australia. I hadn't seen my brother for 10 years. So he had to organise money, get him over, and he came over on a plane. So I was strong, but I was all over the place in terms of worrying sick about I had something seriously wrong with me. I haven't seen my brother for 10 years. He was a riot. He was drinking, he was steaming when he got off the plane and all that. See my younger brother, which I've touched on already, his issues that he's dealing with, and all of a sudden they were all here in my flat and dealing with the funeral. So I was all over the place, but staying strong as well. To kind of, for my mum, and a lot of things to kind of organise with funerals and stuff, and just So I went to the doctors in April once I got the funeral and stuff sorted out. My brother flew back home. He stayed here for 3 weeks. And I thought, I'm going to have to go to the doctors about this. My missus was worried sick about me. So I went to the doctors last April. They had a quick look at my nose. I told them I had been feeling well for a number of months. They gave me nose drops. They gave me a nose drop prescription, which I went to the chemist to go the nose drops. I said, Linda, they gave me nose drops. They've checked me out. They think it might be okay. At this point, I've got a huge swelling on the side of my face here. That was kind of growing into my eye. First week taking these nose drops, like days, actually, I put them up my nose, and it didn't feel right. It did not feel right.
You just stopped that?
Stopped that. Then I totally forgot that there's a lot of benefits in my work, that I had a private healthcare benefit that was paying a few quid a month for, actually, £30-40 a month, which had been paid for a long, long time. But it's like a benefits thing. I've got a lot of your pensions benefits. I totally forgot that I had it. And somebody mentioned in my work from head office, when I told them that I wasn't too feeling great and being to the doctors, Derek, you've got private healthcare. Is there ever? I totally forgot all about it. So I had AXA private healthcare. Anyway, I got the details on that. Then before you know it, I was at the Nuffield Private Hospital in Glasgow. So I need to take a wee drink.
That's all right.
So as soon as I went to see the consultant, then they torch up your nose and looking into your eyes and stuff, and says, Derek, I'm going to send you this afternoon, if I can, at the Nuffield Hospital. They've got the CAT scans, facilities, MRIs in that hospital. So I'm not sure if you get an appointment. We're going to send you downstairs, sat around for 40 minutes. They were that busy, I didn't get seen that day. But he must have known that potentially I might have had cancer. Right. I'm thinking that I might have cancer. He's looked and said it's something serious, so they're kind of going, I'm worried sick. At this point, this is kind of into early July now, after April, May I was on holiday, and this was all booked.
Yep.
So I was in Ibiza in May. I went to Transmit on the way coming back.
Right.
Jerry Cinnamon at Hamden also. Just walking around like a zombie, just like nursing. I couldn't even drink a pint. Nursing a pint. Anyway, Nuffield Hospital, July. Then that happened quite quickly in terms of going to see an oncologist, and the results went to the oncologist from the Nuffield Hospital. Then getting some more MRIs with contrast because they couldn't quite see. So contrast is like a dye that you've kind of put into your system, which shows things a little bit more in kind of layman's terms. I don't know the ins and outs of it really, but you get a dye put into your system that actually shows whether you've got cancer or not within it. So going for the diagnosis was kind of early July last year at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. I went to see the surgeons and going to that meeting with your wife, just even having the conversations with your missus that I know I'm going to get told something really serious is wrong here. I could feel it. I could feel it in my bones. Then just going in with the attitude that worst case scenario, I'm hoping for the best. Yeah. But I'm really expecting the worst here. Worst. And I did. They told me pretty quickly at Derek, unfortunately, you do have cancer. You've got a tumour that's been growing for appears to be a number of months, which, as I said, I've been feeling. Which I told the doctor I'd not been feeling well for a number of months. I mean, if you're getting nose drops, I think that is, if you're saying you've been not well maybe for 2 or 3 weeks, give you nose drops. That should maybe go away if you've got some small ailment. Yeah. But yeah, once I get told, and that was just broke down, crying and stuff, and hugging the missus and going, okay, well that's it. I've been told now, and I still had that kind of positive attitude, speaking to the surgeons, going, we're going to have to do some surgery. It's pretty serious. You've got a tumour that's grown inside your face. It's a rare type of skin cancer that I was diagnosed with, called squamous cell carcinoma.
I remembered.
Yeah, well,
I guess you're never going to forget that.
Because getting told that was pretty stressful, as you can imagine.
And how long did it take for it to sink in? Because I can imagine, in the movies when they hear somebody getting told a cancer diagnosis, they just zone out and everything's just white noise. Like, how long did it take you to process it?
Pretty quickly. So I broke down that day because I knew in the build up to it that I knew inside, deep down, I knew there was something seriously wrong. And I didn't know, I know there's like hundreds of different types of cancer. I mean, cancer can affect every part of the body. It spreads quick. I read up a little bit about it. My little kind of random nosebleeds that was get. And I'm going, to myself, before I even got told that I had a good idea without reading too much into it. I'd done a little bit more kind of research and I've read some more things about different types of cancers. And I'm quite moly because I'd actually been going to the doctors. I got a couple of moles cut out previously, a couple of years prior to COVID. So, I mean, I'm quite fair-skinned. I had burnt a few times, sunburnt when I was younger, blistering really bad my first holiday in Mallorca. So I've had some kind of serious sunburn in my time by not using kind of full protection. So, I was under the microscope in terms of being a prime target for some sort of skin cancer. And that was like 3 years in a row. I was getting moles checked and cut out, non-benign, thankfully getting tested. But I was on a programme of getting that done every year before I got diagnosed with the rare internal cancer, because cancers externally can be quite visible. If it's going to be scabby moles and you're looking for benign moles and looking and checking your skin. But this was growing inside my face, so it was just a lump. So, but anyway, once I read a little bit more into it, and I knew there was something wrong. And
at what point did they say they had to remove the nose?
Straight away.
Straight away.
Once you get told, you get 2 or 3 consultations quite quickly after that. So, and that's the surgery team at the Queen Elizabeth. So it's the lead surgeon's Dr. Locke out there. So there's a team had like 5 or 6 different guys that did the operations. So, that was a big plan, a huge shock to the system, and dealing with it straight away, because I broke down, was emotional. So it hit home pretty quickly. But then you're just sitting in a daze at home going, this is serious, this is really serious. And you could potentially lose your life. You could potentially lose your life through the in-depth surgery that they had to do in terms of amputating your nose. So that plan was put together quite quickly because the tumour was growing inside, and it was stage 4. It was stage 4 cancer, and And when you're going for the consultation, it's that X, Y, and Z could potentially happen. You might lose an eye, you might lose 2 eyes, Derek, through the surgery. Once you lose your nose, because it was right beside my eye here, I had the right eye, and it was growing very, very close to my brain. So thankfully, they caught it just in time, because once brain cancer's at a different level completely. Again, so extremely thankful that I'm here talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I got the all clear last month, so extremely grateful. But yeah, it was a huge. You're just living it every day.
Yeah,
the best you can.
You talked about it earlier on about being in public and like people would look at you, and there must have been some sort of insecurity that came with that.
Absolutely.
Because we live in a very vain culture. Our looks are everything, and people might not understand your story and look at you because you look differently. But like, how was that? Because I can imagine that could be quite tough.
It was tough. It was tough, especially when I was in the hospital and you're all bandaged up and stuff, and you don't really see yourself, and you're drugged up or whatever else. But yeah, it's tubes and all that hanging it. But I remember that first day in the hospital when I looked in the mirror, and it was a shock. It was like, oh my God, look at the state of my face. And I've got a skin graft. For the people that are tuning in, so I've got a skin graft, which is a big, huge bit of skin off my leg, my left thigh. I've got like probably a 30-inch scar from my knee up to my hip where they took the skin graft. That's actually on. It's called the flap,
right?
Which is where they cut my nose off. So they've saved my nostrils, as you can see. Yep. So I've still got my original nostrils because there was no cancer there. So I think their plan, or what the surgeons have told me, we really wanted to save that because they were so confident that we're going to get the tumour out. They do this all the time. Yep. We can try and rebuild your nose, your face, we're going to get this out of you. And they were very reassuring. But first seeing my face in the mirror, the skin flap that's on my face, the graft, was huge. I mean, it looked...
I had a wee look at your Instagram. I saw like different variations.
I haven't actually posted those pictures because they are very traumatic. I'll maybe show you after the show if you wanted to see. But I took a selfie of myself lying doped up to my eyeballs in hospital. I've got a picture of me just maybe a week in, and I went like that with my phone with my eyes shut, and it's pretty horrific. Just the whole size of the skin graft in my face, processing that. I've actually got no nose. I've got no smell for the rest of my life now. I'm not able to smell anything. Thankfully, I know how things smell. So from a psychological point of view, I know what things smell like. It's not as if you were born without smell or without taste or being dead or whatever. I think that would be really, really difficult. But I know what grass smells like outside, fresh air, the aftershave that I like, that I've still got, that I still put on. I know that smells good. So psychologically, that process is... So even though I can't smell for the rest of my life, that hasn't affected me too bad. But the fact that you've got an amputation and a disfigurement at the moment until they do the plastic surgery, that was quite difficult.
And they say that a lot of your taste is in your nose. Like,
correct.
How's that been?
About 40% of my taste went straight after my surgery. So I love my food, like my curries, like my beers. And I found that because after my surgery, believe it or not, I went out for a meal with family and friends. Once I felt a little bit better, so between my surgery and coming out, I was in hospital for about 4 or 5 weeks, a long time. The Queen Elizabeth, who were great, so shout out again to Ward 62 nurses. If they're going to listen to this, they were amazing. But in between coming out of hospital, feeling a little bit better, positive again, I arranged a meal with some family and friends because I hadn't really seen a lot of people, my close family I've seen in the hospital, but there's so many family and friends that were asking for me, and I went for a nice meal in the town, invited them all out for the meal, and that was my first time kind of going out in public and seeing some strange looks. Sometimes you get really sympathetic looks, sometimes you get the squinty face, and they're processing their own stories going, so it does look quite mad. It looks, and then maybe putting their own little jigsaw puzzle going, oh, what's up with this guy? But you can tell straight away that people are sympathetic. Or you get ones that maybe screw their face up and maybe making up their own, this guy maybe looks dodgy or something like that, or what's happened to this guy's face. Or so that was quite hard to kind of process at the start, and that's been up and down a little bit. But past couple of weeks, I've been feeling so much better. Getting that all clear has really helped me. psychologically, I think, kind of deal with that as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of complications still that you're dealing with. The runny eyes, you can't breathe out your nose.
Can't breathe, still can't taste. They took my tear ducts out as part of the operation. I've got a kind of squinty eye, my right eye, where they took some of the muscle tissue out that's pointing in the way. I can't see. Yep. I can actually drive a car, believe it or not. I went to the opticians, they gave me stronger glasses. So I can see out this right eye. But you're right, there's a huge impact. I might not get my taste back still, which I've read, that could come back. So I can't really taste. I can taste kind of spicy stuff. I ate a Chinese curry the other day for the first time, which was great, which I couldn't do 8 weeks ago because spicy stuff was extra spicy in terms it feels like your tongue's really raw. I've still got dry mouth a lot, even though I'm talking quite a bit today. But that was really hard, getting your sleep patterns disrupted, breathing through your mouth. Your tongue was dry constantly. I had lots of ointments and gels. I was waking up every hour through the night to get a drink of water.
Have you had to learn to breathe with your mouth?
That comes with time. That comes with time. So I was getting heart palpitations at night time. I got going to sleep and you're thinking you're getting heart palpitations. It's called sleep apnea. I think that's called. My missus kind of looked into that. But that was all part of your body trying to relearn how to just breathe through your mouth, especially at night. I used to snore quite a bit, apparently. My missus is taking over that baton now, my God. But yeah, you obviously can't breathe through your nose, but it's just your body adjusts. Your body's a very complex machine, and you do over time adjust to it. I'm used to it now, but thankfully my mouth is becoming more lubricated naturally with the saliva in your mouth. But yeah, I might not get my taste back, unfortunately.
Yeah, but as you said, you've got the news that you're cancer-free, and I think you'll take that over anything.
There's still lots of hurdles to go. There's never any guarantees once you've been diagnosed with cancer. Unfortunately, things can't come back. But I'm staying positive, staying fit, eating the right stuff, trying to get my exercise, remaining positive.
Yep.
All the way through, and just
I saw that you're back at the gym.
I'm back at the gym, yeah, a couple of days. I went back last week. I went to college, so I've got a qualification in fitness instruction, so basic resistance training, which I did at college, which I touched on back in the day. So I know what I'm doing. Take my time, do some stretches, do a little bit of kind of yoga for your back, some light weights, low repetitions. And see, this week I feel so much stronger just this week.
Right.
So 3 days this week, 3 days last week. Couple of days rest in between, the kind of Monday, Wednesday, Sunday I've been doing. Back on the protein shakes as well. Loads of tuna fish, plenty. I love my fish. Tuna fish sandwiches, cereals in the morning, nice fish at night time. Back on my salads, beetroot, the whole shit match. Even though I had a Chinese curry the other day. So you're allowed a little treat in between.
Yep.
Treat in between, but just looking after your body, and I'm feeling great. Actually, I'm feeling really, really good this week.
It's amazing what you've been through, and even just having this chat with you, you've had a life. You know what I mean? And
it's been a roller coaster, but life is tough.
Yes.
Everybody goes through life. There's loads of things that impact you in terms of your mental health, whether it's outside sources, personal issues, families, addictions, issues. Yeah, it's a lot for everybody, for all human beings, not just me. I'm talking about everybody on the whole planet deals with life on a daily basis, and life is tough. But
there's people that would go through what you've gone through and really not come out the other end. You know what I mean? Like it's, I can't stress to you how much of an achievement that is for you to be a year, not even a year down the line, and you're like doing so well. That's what's so inspiring about it, and it's not you're an inspiring person in general.
And I think that's just me. What you said before, I don't know where it comes from. I think I was maybe just born with those qualities, thankfully. And I've been through those experiences as well, which has had a heavy impact on me personally. But yeah, I can't quite put my finger on it. Who can? Who are you? Who are you? I'm me. You're you. Everybody's got their tendencies and how they kind of deal with their own personal through their life. So yeah, I'm just me. I'm just Derek.
And as much as I'm saying you've have a life, we've not touched upon two parts of your life, with DJing and Chasing the Face clothing brand. So
a little side hustle that I've got.
A little side hustle that could potentially blow up and be a full-time career.
Hopefully, I do have a clothing brand. It's called Chasing the Face,
which we're both rocking at the moment.
Yes, we've both got our t-shirts on, so thank you for Chasing the Face was something that just kind of came to me via my passion for music during COVID. And I kind of lost that. I told you I worked in HMV. HMV was buzzing back in the day. Vinyl DJs had decks at home. So I've always been an aspiring DJ without actually being, I call them proper DJs, going out and done it paid.
Yep.
I played out a few times, played a couple of gigs. But it was a very saturated market back then. All my friends were DJs. Everybody that came in at HMV, they're all DJing.
Yep.
So they had the majority of the kind of good gigs. So it's always been just that kind of home kind of hobby for me. Yeah. If somebody wants to invite me to do like a garden party or something, I've always done it.
Because I was going to ask where the DJing thing came from, but
I've always had that passion for music. I mean, I was a huge rock fan when I was younger.
Aye.
I loved my Guns N' Roses and all that sort of stuff back there. A lot of my stuff, Bon Jovi and all that. So before I heard, when I was young, and I liked my soft rock albums and all that, like my bit of the Beatles back in the day, but I loved Guns N' Roses, a bit of rock. When I heard house music for the first time, and I was about maybe 14, 15, I'm 48 now, whatever year that might have been, when I came back to Glasgow, and some houses things were in the charts, and when you start going out in Glasgow, I worked in a nightclub called Bonkers back in the day, which is a huge nightclub in Glasgow. Worked there part-time, and I just fell in love with dance music. I started going to a few raves and all that back in the day, the early 90s, and just loved it. And working in HMV and vinyl was booming back then. I just fell in love with house music. I was a big trance music fan. But again, I've got a huge eclectic taste in music. I still like my rock.
Yeah.
I still love my indie stuff as well. But I've always loved DJing.
And Ibiza, you go to Ibiza to see DJs and stuff?
Yeah. So I've been to some big gigs in Ibiza. I just love the island, the passion. I mean, even just everybody thinks about San Antonio, but Ibiza is an island. It's a beautiful island. It's a lot of kind of hippie orientations, but you've looked at the history about it. It's beautiful, and it's got that vibe that I love. There's everywhere you go, every little bar you go, it's just playing nice little house tunes. I love it. Actually, I love it.
It's funny because you were doing the DJ set in here a couple of weeks ago when you just got the cancer diagnosis that you were free.
Yeah.
And you know, I've not spent a lot of time listening to that type of music. I've always kind of liked it, but I've never really. It's not been my thing. You know, the rock music's been my thing and punk music and stuff like that. But I absolutely loved it, and I was sitting behind there. Doing some of the switching for the camera angles. I had the headphones on, and I was just totally in the zone.
Brilliant.
And it was just such a good set.
The set came from my emotions, which I told you. I spent a bit of time putting that set together. I've got a lot of music that I had kind of collected over in COVID, like sitting at home, and I thought about Chasing the Phase. So anytime I hear some music, I Shazam it goes onto my software, my laptop, straight away Shazam it. So I've got a whole catalogue of lots of different tunes, and I do like to have, it's like any music, emotionally you get connected to certain types of music, and it makes you feel good. You can reflect on it. So that set, I put that together. I had a few good ideas, and I was looking for a tune to start. You need to start with a good tune for your set. And Eye of the Tiger out of Rocky was on, it popped up on TikTok. There was a Rocky scene on TikTok 2 days. I was like, would I play my first tune? So I was playing about with some stuff, and some old footage of Rocky, Eye of the Tiger, and just the words about that, about coming through adversity. I'm not going to sing the words to it, but I found a house mix. I went out to SoundCloud, found a house mix, loads of different mixes. That sounds perfect, and I found the perfect mix for my first tune to play for that set. But every other bit of music or tune after that, to a degree, towards the end, was a lot of, I've called it my emotions mix. Because one about being stressed out, which your colleague, which is sitting behind there, I played that little sample, and I love that tune, that stressed out tune. So if you haven't heard it, it's on Spotify now as well, and on my YouTube channel, Chasing the Phase. So give it a Google, go onto your YouTube, Chasing the Phase, and my live set done at the podcast studios in Glasgow with the guys in the team. That was amazing, and it's just what I needed at that time as well. And I'm so glad you enjoyed it as not a house music fan.
It was that good that I watched it on the train home.
That comment. Yeah.
Honestly, I was like, I've just came from it, and I'm putting it on for my train journey home, and it was just so good. I don't know if it's because I had no expectations, but I know
people think of dance music is just pumping bass and all that. But
you played a London Grammar song, Hey Now, that was a mix, and that is now that's in my playlist forever, and it will always put me back to this memory. So thank you for that.
You're more than welcome.
Because it makes me love that song even more.
Well, when people get joy out of music, and if you can share that with other people, and like yourself, you maybe not really into that. Maybe you are now.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe do some more mixes. But I mean, I'm not the best DJ in the world, but it's all about the music.
You could have fooled me, man. You could have fooled me.
No, I mean, I've listened to it back, and I'm picking up my mistakes and all that, transitions and all that, and that's just maybe my brain is. But yeah, I'm a bit rusty. I bought my gear. But yeah, onwards and upwards. I've actually might get invited onto a radio station to do some DJ sets. So I'm keeping that top secret just now. I'm not going to mention who it is.
Okay.
But I've had a conversation with somebody's touched base with me very recently. So yeah, I might be doing some more in the very near future. But yeah, that is my passion. I love my music. I
was going to ask, are you thinking about doing a wee set in a club somewhere?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, but these things could open doors for me. I mean, on my Facebook and social media, I've got lots of. Yeah.
Probably never had an opening night for your Chasing the Phase?
Not yet, but I'm going to plan something for August actually.
Good.
So I was actually going to plan like a party once I got the good news, but it's the bank holiday this weekend. It's maybe a little bit quick for everybody. But I'm thinking maybe August time, maybe book a venue, get myself to do a little set, some DJs that I know that have been following me all the way through my journey. And just maybe do some rock stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? At the start, I know some guys that play live in the guitar. So, but anyway, I might do an open invitation. I might book a venue, get some guys to do some live music on the guitar, get a couple of DJs to play some tunes, and just have maybe raise some money for cancer research too.
I'll maybe get up on my chanter, as I said. I'm a bit of a singer,
well,
so I'll lend my voice if you need it.
There's a plan in my head, which I'm going to make sure that I do, but I'm aiming for about kind of August time, and I'm going to have a party for everybody that's followed my journey so far, and maybe just an open invite to people on Facebook and social media if they want to show up. And
I'll be there.
Generate some cash for cancer research too, possibly as well.
Absolutely, man. No, count me in.
Excellent, mate.
Sign me up, I'll be there.
Do you play guitar?
I've been playing a little bit. I've been posting clips on my Instagram of just me, like a minute of me playing the guitar and singing a song, just to kind of get back into the confidence of singing again, because it's been a long time since I've been a front man.
We'll do that together. There'll be definitely something I want to do a few months' time. So that's June, July, August.
Yeah.
It flies by. I mean, 2 months is nothing these days, but I'm certainly going to have a celebration.
I just want to apologise to the people online if they are listening that have been posting those videos. I'm sorry and I'm not sorry.
Just get it out there. Get it out there. I mean, I've just got that confidence as well. I never thought that I'd be doing DJ mixes and putting them on to live streams, but it's good. It's good for the soul. It's good for your mental health, and it's good to give you. It inspires your confidence. It inspires your own confidence, which everybody needs, I think.
It wasn't to be like, look at me, I'm singing. You know, it was more to just be like, right, I'm trying to build my confidence here. Man. If somebody likes it, great.
I haven't heard them yet, but I'll make sure I get on it. Sorry, I swore there. I'm not sure if it's on your podcast.
No, you can swear in this podcast. This podcast is completely explicit. And we'll just touch a wee bit more about Chasing the Phase, because you have built the clothing brand over the past 3 years.
3 years, yeah. I think I kind of swayed off that after kind of touching with it. I kind of came up with that idea during COVID, watching some DJs online. There's something called phasing when you're DJing as well, which is not necessarily a good thing, but when all the elements are all balanced, and if you're playing two tunes that are the same together, and the BPMs and everything are all together, it's a technical term. I'm not going to go too much into it, but if you're a DJ or you're a music sound guy, you might have heard of phasing before, but it's when all the elements are all aligned. I said chasing the phase, because when the two tracks are phasing, it kind of generates its own kind of sound, gives a kind of effect on its own. So good DJs, they can actually put that into their sets and give it a woof 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 without giving the sound effect.
Yeah,
and I heard that. The two DJs were doing, you let it phase for a couple of seconds, it goes in the mix, then they come out it, and they were doing it purposely. I went, the guys were doing back-to-back set in Ibiza, and I went, these guys are chasing the phase. This set's amazing. And I kind of went back, chasing the phase? That sounds quite cool. And it just rolled off my tongue. My brain processed it. It came out my mouth. I actually wrote it down on a notebook, chasing the phase, watched the set. And I made a clothing brand out of it. I ended up playing around with the letter CTP that same day.
Yeah.
That same day, CTP, chasing the phase, phases in life. I mean, they were talking about phases in COVID, phase this, phase that. It was a very prominent word. Yep. Bum, bum, bum. It's a huge well-being element to it as well, but your phases in life, about the balance. Everybody's going through that, I think, in terms of your work, your love life, your mental health. Everybody's looking for that perfect phase, that balance in your life.
That's what I love about it. Like the brand, you've obviously, it's music
orientated and inspired. But there's a huge well-being element to it, and that comes from me personally. And so that's what the sound waves represent. Yep. So we're wearing the T-shirts. So if you hit chasingthephase.co.uk, I do have a clothing brand, which I've built slowly over time. It was obviously difficult through COVID to get T-shirts and fabrics and stuff like that.
How have you found building a brand? Because I'm comparing it to this podcast. I was off social media for a while, so I had no following, I had no really much connections. I just started it, and I'm slowly every week getting one or two followers and just kind of getting there. But how is it for you?
It takes time. It was a side hustle for me. I mean, I'm not making loads of money. I'm generating a few sales, but you constantly need to be. I'm not putting a lot into marketing in terms of paying for photo shoots yet, but it's on the horizon. But you need to, I was going out myself with my T-shirts on, asking my daughter and my missus to take pictures of me constantly, take a picture here. I've always been into kind of photography a little bit. So it was just hustling social media, on Instagram, I'm now on TikTok, YouTube. Utilise everything that's out there and just do it yourself. And you gradually just kind of build that little bit of following. And if you get the brand, the chasing the phase, you're interested in your music, you're into the well-being, and you actually get it without much explanation, which you guys got straight away. Phases in life, phases in the music, which you need to explain, and the letter CTP that I designed myself and trademarked. I actually own that, it's trademarked as well. So the letter CTP on the logo is the letter CTP with a running man. Looks like kind of block graffiti art type thing. So I was quite arty at school. I was quite good at art at school, but I think it was just a lot of kind of built up suppressed creativity just came gushing right out of me. Started drawing again, and chasing the phase just rolled off the tongue. So I played around with a lot of stuff and got my logo on some T-shirts eventually.
A real creative outlet for you as well. And I was going to say, like, did you just sketch what you had in mind, and then what was it, taking it from a sketch to reality? How was that process?
My first logos, I've still got all the paperwork at home, which I've actually put as a little kind of draft on one of my Instagram posts of the pictures that I started drawing. So I've got CTP with a guitar at the bottom of it, with guitar feet. So playing it before it's actually a finished article now, but it was all music inspired at the time. I wanted the sound waves beside it, and that represents the phases in your life and balance too, because they're totally in sync. So I thought about chasing the phase and making it a jagged phase, like you see the phases in DJing, but I didn't like it all jaggy. I wanted it flow. I like Bruce Lee, talking about flow, about water, about balance in your life. So then it changed from a phase to just sound waves that are in balance, and it's all phasing together. And I played about for about a week, I think, and I've shown my missus different pictures, and I was a stick man at the start. Once I got the running man chasing the phase, I was a stick man at the start, and I showed my missus, check this logo that I've got, and she's Derek, what is it with this chasing the phase thing and drawing pictures? Where's this came from? That looks rubbish. And that just made me go, I'm going to make this even better. Then I made it into a kind of graffiti art block style, so it looked kind of prominent. And maybe that's my kind of suppressed artistic brain that all kind of started coming out.
And what was it about a clothing brand specifically that appealed to you?
I don't know. I've always liked. I've got loads of T-shirts. I've always liked clothing. I've always liked a T-shirt, and I thought chasing the phase what do I do with it? What can I do with this? So that'd be quite a good name for a clothing brand. And I actually Googled Chasing the Phase into Google, and the only thing that came up was like something in America in terms of Google searches, like number one in Google search.
Right.
It's Phase Clothing, which is a women's clothing brand, and that was it. So I bought the domains all within, like, during COVID. I bought the domains, Googled how to trademark a brand. I said before I even sold a t-shirt.
Wow.
I hadn't even sold anything. You know what I mean? And I got some t-shirts made. There's a guy that does football tops. He's got a printing machine at work. He's got one of the warehouses at my work at Buchanan Business Park. I couldn't source anything, everything was closed. So he was in one day and I said to Simon, I've got this idea for a clothing brand. I've designed this logo. Says, could you print them on just some basic cotton t-shirts? He says, yeah, I'll do that for you. And it was massive at that time, me printing them. And it was about that size, the logo on it, which wasn't quite what I was looking for. But again, it's developed, it's progressed, I tweaked some stuff. I'm using a local supplier in Glasgow now. Spoke to the graphic designer how I actually wanted the logo to look, and the sizing and the boldness of it. And yeah, I've done all that. Wow. I've been speaking to graphic designers and stuff, and I had a couple of t-shirts at home that were a specific fabric, which is the bamboo organic, which I've started off with just now. I wanted something that felt a bit more kind of quality rather than a standard cheap kind of cotton t-shirt, if you like.
Yeah, I hate those Fruit of the Loom t-shirts.
Yeah.
I'm a big t-shirt guy as well, and I just hate those like thick Fruit of the Loom.
Yeah, thick, too heavy, or you get the kind of cheaper cotton ones that they kind of rub against their skin.
Yeah.
Like if you buy a Marillion t-shirt at HMV, I mean the markup, and I'm going to tell you, because I know exactly selling for £15, they buy them maybe £2.50. Yeah. It's a cheap Gildan t-shirt.
It was Gildan, Fruit of the Loom or whatever.
Gildan, Fruit of the Looms. But yeah, so I like to think it's what I like to wear. I've had some nice feedback on it. They are very light, very breathable in the winter time. I did play about with some different colours. Like I've got a white t-shirt on just now. This is all out my own pocket.
Yep.
I have reinvested. I have made some sales and reinvested what I've made back into buying some more t-shirts. But I've got so many more ideas going forward, like getting better quality, maybe oversized t-shirts, changing the print, and maybe getting some kind of sewn badges on. Yeah. But I'm still even though it's been going for 3 years, I'm very much at the infancy of all this. To create a brand takes 10, 15, 20 years of dedication.
Yep.
The way I'm feeling now, I nearly kind of dropped everything.
Oh, really?
Through the chemotherapy and radiotherapy every day. I was weak, obviously not hustling anything on social media. A little bit here and there, I was still kind of going, wasn't getting any sales whatsoever. I thought, I said, you know what, I've got my trademark. That last 5 years, you paid for the trademark. I'll give it another few years, develop it more. But in terms of an inventory, you need to kind of manage it all myself in terms of how much you're making. Do I spend my own money getting X amount of different colour t-shirts in different colours?
Yeah.
But you're paying that out of your own pocket.
Yeah.
And to have small, medium, large, extra large, you need all that there, because if somebody's going to go and buy something, how have you not got any smalls? Have you not got any extra larges?
Yeah.
If you just bought medium and large. But that's all part of my brand. I want to be able to provide all the different sizes, but that puts you under pressure to actually pay for that in the different colours from a business perspective.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've been on statutory sick pay. I've not got a lot of cash.
Yeah.
But anything that I have made, I've reinvested. I've got a bit of stock at home. I've got some hats that I got, some buckets of fun hats, I call them. I got some winter hats in there. And I've got some hoodies. I've got a small stock at home, small, medium and larges.
Yeah.
So if you're getting it, go on to chasingthephase.co.uk. I'm on YouTube at Chasing the Phase, Instagram at Chasing the Phase, TikTok now at Chasing the Phase. And it's all gathering pace now as well, especially with my cancer. I don't know if it's sympathy votes or whatever.
No, not at all.
It's getting my profile out there.
I think you were saying that, not at all. I think people are just picking up on how inspirational you are, and they're getting that feel for you.
Yeah.
So like that is so important for your brand as well. Yeah. But it does take time, and we all want it now.
It took a lot of time, a lot of patience, and obviously I've been a year out of the game just now. Yep. I spent 2 years during COVID, so that's the 3 years of my clothing brand. 2 years of COVID, 1 year of cancer. So I'm taking this to town the next few years.
Good man.
Once I'm back at work, I'm going to get some more products and develop it even more. And because my brain switched on a bit more, I've got so many kind of different ideas for different bits of clothing. My trademark covers jeans and trainers and all that as well. So give me another 5 years down the line.
I know.
I'll keep progressing and I'll keep chasing the phase of life.
Aye.
That's what it's all about. Because what's my demographic? I think everybody on the whole planet, to a degree, is wanting the best in their life. Am I right? Or am I wrong?
You are right.
And what do you do to do that? You're chasing it all the time to get that perfect phase in your life and that balance. And that's what it's all about to me as well. Yeah, it's music inspired. Chasing the phase is all about the balance in your own life and how you get that balance from a mental health perspective, to a physical health perspective, to a love life perspective. Everything getting there, you need to work hard at it. Yeah, it takes a lot of hard work. But what I'll say,
you've had. Sorry, on you go.
Just keep chasing it, and you will get it.
Aye, and you've had like DJs and that wear them.
Yes,
so, the more eyes on the.
Thanks to the Kitchen Raven Misbehaving team in London, which I never said a thank you to before. They started off Kitchen Raven Misbehaving, a promotional company, a built up of DJs in London and Essex. And when I first went on Instagram, I didn't even have an Instagram 2 or 3 years ago now, they went, Derek, I really like this brand. This is we're starting a promotional company called Kitchen Raven Misbehaving. I think quite a lot of us have always been in the kitchen misbehaving.
It's where all the misbehaving
so
happens.
I liked their branding, they liked mine. I went down to London and done a bit of networking with them just after COVID, just about a couple of years ago before my diagnosis. I was still feeling quite healthy. Went down, done some networking with them. And now they're sponsoring their radio station. They've now got a radio station. So they played on Shine 879 down in London and Essex, and they've got a Kitchen Raven Misbehaving show that they do live on Mixcloud every Wednesday, and they're always wearing my t-shirts. They're giving me the shout outs.
Wow.
I touched base with Judge Josie's manager. Didn't think anything would come of it. Sent an email. He got back to me a couple of years ago. Judge Jules done a live set on YouTube. So if you Google Judge Jules, you'll see his profiles, and he's wearing my t-shirt on there. Refy Ref, got some Glasgow DJs in Glasgow. K-Sounds, Casey Boyne, Phil Rose. They've all got t-shirts as well, and that's all through social media and them actually understanding and getting the brand straight away. Yeah, and they've been great. They've all done live shows with my t-shirts on, which really helps you kind of generate the interest behind your brand, and
absolutely
gets my little carousel of my Chasing the Phase crew, I call them. So yeah, my little tribe that I've got. So, but yeah, it takes time. As you said, you're just starting on Instagram. Keep your posts going and just keep going every day. Every day, just post Instagram every day. I'm back to doing it every day now on 4 different social media streams, not just the Instagram that I started with.
I love it that you use local suppliers as well.
Yes,
because 100% Scottish.
Yes. So there's a local supplier in Glasgow. They're wholesalers, so you go through your wholesaler process, speak to the graphic designer there, which is very helpful. You give them your ideas, and it takes time because it takes maybe up to 2 months once you order stock to get your stock. Yeah. So really you need to have your kind of finger on the pulse in terms of your summer range, your winter range. Maybe a bit late for the summer. I might maybe put an order in next week for some couple of stuff, because I'm doing some polls on Instagram now, which I can't think you do. What colours would you like to see? Would you like to see pink? Would you like to see red? Obviously we're in Glasgow, so blue or green is maybe going to be quite popular. But I'm thinking about these different ideas, incorporating some different colours. But yeah, you need to have the kind of financial backup to do that, or just take a little bit of a chance and get the full range in.
And with that being said, where can the people find you online? Where can the people buy your clothing online?
Yes, so I think I've mentioned it a couple of times. My website, which is on a web builder, which I've done on my own on the web build profile, which is chasingthephase.co.uk. So if you Google that, I believe I'm #1 on Google search, which I went back because nobody's got it.
Yep.
I'm Chasing the Phase man. I'm the guy in the world that's got it in the whole world, apparently. Now, I've trademarked it in the UK, but yeah, that's my website at chasingthephase.co.uk, at Chasing the Phase on Instagram, at Chasing the Phase on YouTube, and Chasing the Phase, again, very obvious, on TikTok now as well, which I'm doing some videos, and that's more about me and talking about my cancer and sharing my journey so far and kind of going forward. My website's obviously got my stock on it, but if you Google the website at chasingthephase.co.uk, it's got links on the top right hand corner. You'll see YouTube, you'll see the Facebook little link, that they are clickable and interactable with. So if you click on those little links straight from my website, you'll see the different social media profiles that I've got and I've built up kind of over time. So
amazing.
I'm all over the place now. So
I know.
Onwards and upwards.
And please do go over to Chasing the Face and buy as many t-shirts as you can.
Thank you.
We need to help Derek fund this project.
Yes, absolutely. So I reinvest anything that I do make. I just reinvest. I've got a small limited amount of stock in my bedroom, the top of my wardrobe at the moment, all neatly tucked away. So yes, if you kind of understand where I'm coming from and you get the phase, good luck to everybody that's chasing it. I hope you all do get it, that's out there. If you do like the t-shirts, please buy one. There's free shipping and all that just now as well at the moment. You do get a couple of stickers in there as well. I do give the odd kind of freebie mouse mat in there, which you might get a little surprise within your package, because I'm quite a generous guy. But yeah, there's some little extras in there, and I'm just going to keep developing it and keep rocking and rolling with it for the foreseeable future. And hope that it gathers some more pace. And as I've been told, it's actually got legs. This has got legs. Which I find quite funny because the logo has got a wee running leg on it.
And it will. I have faith, man. I believe in you, so I know it's coming for you.
Yes, man. Love it.
And just a thank you very much for coming on to help me close out season 1. This has been a massive journey for me.
Yep.
And, you're one hell of an inspiration to me on a personal level. And it's just been an honour to have you. So thank you very much for coming on.
Makes me so happy, man. Likewise, great to meet all you guys. I'll be hitting your Instagram. Keep the tunes coming. Get the practice in. We'll have a party in August. You'll be on the guest list, don't you worry about it. And I'm so happy to meet you guys. And if you want to invite me on again for another chat going forward, that's been done too now.
Yep.
I didn't think I'd be this type of guy to be able to sit on a podcast and share my story. Yep. So this is all new and fresh to me as well. So thanks for inviting me on. And it really helps me personally, all my own personal development as well, with everything, just kind of sharing my story. So thank you.